What's up everyone? Welcome back to my channel, or if you're new, welcome. So it's officially been a year that I'm living in my house. If you guys don't know, last year, actually this all started back in 2020, I built my home and I've officially been living here for exactly a year to the day that I'm filming this. And I thought I would kind of give you guys an update 1 year later, my thoughts and opinions on building a home. Would I, recommend it? Do I regret it? The second part of this video is going to be all of the things that I feel like are worth splurging on and the things that I feel like are not worth splurging on when building a home. The third part of this video is going to be all about the things that I have done and the things that I plan to do to make my builder grade home look more custom. And the fourth part of this video is going to be a Q&A about the entire process. I know this is not what I usually talk about on my channel. I always get questions about building a home, if I recommend it, the process. So I hope I could be a little bit helpful. If you didn't check out my Q&A I did a year ago, definitely check that out. I give you guys the price of my house and answer more of your questions there, but this is really going to be an update. I have learned a lot over the past year, so there's going to be a lot of information in this video. I was a little bit naive going into the house building process, even though I was told by my friends and family and so many of you guys that it was going to be a lot of work. I kind of didn't even listen to that. I was kind of swept up in the excitement of building and buying a home, which is a really exciting process. And if you are just getting into that, congratulations. Or if you're thinking about that, it is a very exciting process. But I really did not expect the amount of work and stress that building a home entails. And people will tell you like there's so much you have to do when building a home that you don't even think about. And you're like, yeah, whatever. Like I have to do a fence, I have to do my front yard, my backyard, my basement, my this, my that. In the beginning, I didn't, that didn't seem that daunting. But now having to actually do all of that, it's a lot of work. With that being said, the plus side is that you get to decide everything and you get to pick exactly what you want and how you want your house to look. So you really have to see if that outweighs all of the extra work and decisions that you need to make. For me, I'm very picky, so I really liked getting to pick my flooring and my cabinets and my kitchen and everything exactly how I wanted it. I think if you're able to find a house where you love everything, or at least like it enough that you don't want to change it, I would probably go with that option. But if you have a really specific design or house that you want, or you're really picky, I feel like building might be the better option for you. For me, it really came down to price. For the price that I bought my house, it ensures that I can sell it for a profit, especially at the time when I bought it in the middle of the pandemic. The price of real estate was insane. So it was way cheaper to build than buy at the time. Just make sure to keep in mind all of the things that you'll need to do after your house is built, but you also have to remember those things don't have to be done overnight. You can do them gradually. In my case, it wasn't a fully custom home, so I had to go to a builder and they gave me the options to pick from. So if you're considering building a home that isn't fully custom, I would make sure you go with a builder that has options that you really love. I looked at a few different areas to build. I went with this one because they had the flooring that I liked, they had the open stairs that I liked, they had the kitchen that I liked. So it just made more sense for me to go with a builder that had the options of things that I really love. I think there's pros and cons to building. Do I think I'm going to go ahead and build another home in the future? I honestly don't think so. I am in love with my home and how it looks. The only thing I would say is you need to mentally prepare for all the work that it's going to be. It is not a stress-free thing. Now let's get into the things that I think are worth splurging on and the things that I would save on when building your house. I'm only talking for like builder grade houses. I'm not talking about fully custom houses. When you're building your home, you get like the base house. That's the price of the house. And then you can add certain things onto your home as upgrades. There are certain things that I think are really worth upgrading with the contractor and the builder, and certain things I think you can do after. And the things that I think you should do with your builder are things that you can't add afterwards. So HVAC systems. You can't go in and add, I mean, I'm sure you can, but it would be so much work. Like, you can't go in and add that after. The second thing I upgraded was the staircase. So standard, it came with like a closed off staircase, and I went for the open staircase with iron, what are those things called on the stairs? Anyways, I upgraded the size of my doors. On the main floor, my doors are a lot taller. The ceilings are pretty high, and I feel like the high doors just gave a really grand look, and it wasn't an expensive upgrade, but I feel like it made a really big difference. I upgraded my kitchen. Honestly, I did not like any of the kitchen options that they had at the standard price, and the price of the upgrade, I think it was $4,000, but it gave me my dream kitchen. Had I gone with the base kitchen and then renovated my kitchen after, it would have been way more expensive. That would have made no sense. I also upgraded my lighting, so I added pot lights inside my house, like extra ones to make it a little bit brighter, and then I also added pot lights outside my house. I also added on a few other things that I feel like are kind of subjective as to whether you think they're worth it or not. So I did like a standalone bathtub, I did a rainfall water shower head. In terms of things I think you should save on when building, are anything that you can do afterwards that will be less expensive. So painting your house, they quoted me something crazy to get my house painted, so I did that afterwards. Another example is the faucets. They were quoting me something absolutely crazy to upgrade it. Another great place to save is builder grade mirrors. Builder grade mirrors are like huge mirrors that are just like the mirror. There's no frame or anything. It's stuck to the wall, and I just personally don't find them that nice. So I actually asked for no mirrors, and they gave me a credit for that. And then there were a lot of like little upgrades. For example, the garbage bin in one of the kitchen cabinets, that was crazy expensive. So I would really go through all possible upgrades and see if it's worth it or if it's worth doing afterwards. The one thing I do wish I upgraded that I didn't was having my security system wired into my home, like the panel. Something small that I can do, but I feel like it was just an easy thing. Now I have like wires and panels and things in my front entrance, so that's the one thing I wish I would have upgraded. Now let's get into things that I did to my builder grade home to make it look more custom. The one thing I want to stress is that when you're moving into a new home, whether you just built it or you just bought it, I feel like there's this desire to get everything done immediately. Whether it's to buy all of your furniture or do all your renovations, please take a step back and do it slowly. Do not try to get everything done immediately, because that will lead to you buying furniture you don't necessarily love just to fill a space, and then it's kind of a waste of money. Just take a breath. It'll get done eventually. I'm here a year later, and most of the stuff that I wanted to get done haven't gotten done yet. First thing I would recommend doing seems so simple, and that is to paint your walls. Even if you didn't just build your home, I would recommend throwing a fresh coat of paint on your walls. It really like brightens and cleans up the space, makes it feel fresh and new. Typically when you build your home, they just put primer on the walls, and that is like a very matte, thin, cool toned white. It is not a pretty white. I had my whole house painted in Simply White by Benjamin Moore. It was a little bit expensive, but it was the best thing I ever did. I also read somewhere that just by painting your walls, it increases the likelihood of you selling your house if that's something you're trying to do. The second thing I would recommend doing is upgrading or getting window treatments. I went with blackout blinds in my bedrooms, and then in the rest of my house, I went with these really nice sheer linen looking blinds. This is something I did splurge on. However, it was the same price as getting zebra blinds from the builder, and when I went to Textiles, which is where I got my blinds from, zebra blinds were only a small amount cheaper than the blinds that I got. Personally, I don't love zebra blinds. I think I've just seen them too much. Like, I've seen them everywhere. I don't hate how they look by any means, but I feel like if you want to upgrade your space, I would go with a solid blind. If you love a zebra blind, then go for it. Get it. I love that for you. I think curtains completely transform a space and make it look so much more luxurious, and you don't need to spend so much money on them. They have great ones on Amazon. I have them all throughout my house. They look so bougie and expensive, but they were so affordable. The next easy upgrade is kitchen hardware and door handles. So luckily for me, I liked the door hardware, I guess, that the builder was offering. But if it's something that you don't like, that can completely transform your home. And then also when I moved in, I changed all of the hardware in my kitchen to a more like luxurious hardware, and that made my entire kitchen look way more luxurious. And that's such an easy little switch to do. The fourth thing I kind of touched on already, but is removing all builder grade mirrors. And if you have the option, because trying to get those babies down is not easy, have them not install them at all and get a credit for them. Builder grade mirrors, they're fine, but they don't look custom, so I would just recommend avoiding them. Or if you have them, there's great DIYs on how to add a frame to them, and that can make it look custom as well. The fifth tip is to remove builder grade lighting. So this means all of your boob lighting. You don't have to splurge and get super expensive lighting in your home. Wayfair has great affordable options, and make sure they're the appropriate size for your room. There's a lot of great like things online to figure out the right size light for your room. But yeah, those boob lights, they've got to go. And another tip is to not have matching lighting throughout your entire home. It's kind of like how you don't want to get a matching bedroom set or a matching couch set. I like mixing and matching pieces that flow together and look really nice together but aren't exactly the same. The sixth thing I did was add sconces. Sconces are something I feel like can really make a space look so much more expensive and bougie, and I feel like all of those beautiful custom houses have sconces. Now, I am not someone who's going to hardwire a sconce into the wall. You can either go ahead and hire an electrician and do it the proper way to, you know, get sconces, but that seems like a lot of work. And when I want something done, I want it done today. So all I did was get some sconces from Wayfair, and I put a puck light in them, put them in the front entryway, and it upgraded the space instantly. The seventh thing I did was my built-ins in my living room. I have a whole video on it. So I guess this technically is custom, but they were actually offering to do like fireplaces, and it would have costed just to have a fireplace put in my living room the same price as the entire built-in wall. That's an example of when something was not worth upgrading, but this completely transformed my living room. I get compliments on it all the time. Custom homes typically have these like built-in really nice things like in all of their rooms. The eighth thing that I would recommend doing, and this is a pretty easy thing to do, is just to get the right size rugs. Oftentimes people get rugs that are too small for their space, and I don't want to say cheapens the space, is not the right word, but if you look at like home interior design accounts or inspo, they have these like big rugs, and the furniture tends to be a little bit bigger. And if you're in between sizes for rugs, I would actually recommend just going with the bigger option. My friend Nicole's an interior designer, and when I was between rugs in my front entryway, she said just always pick the bigger option. Now let's talk about the things that I plan to do in my home to make it look even more custom. The number one thing I want to do is add paneling in my home, specifically my bedroom, so wall panels. And then I also want to add crown moldings to my house. Maybe not in every room, but I feel like that would definitely elevate the look of my home. And the second thing I want to do is in my pantry. Right now I just have those wire shelves. I also have them in my linen closet and my actual closet. In my linen closet and my closet, it's not that big of a deal, but in my pantry, I definitely want to do some sort of DIY thing, or maybe I'll just get like built-ins in my pantry eventually, but that seems like expensive. I would be happy just with like wood shelves, so I feel like that's something I'm going to do in this coming year. Now let's get on to the Q&A portion. I asked you guys to ask me some questions on Instagram. Make sure you do check out the first Q&A. I did because I had answered a lot of the questions that I got in that video. The first question is, where do you get your interior design inspo? I follow a few accounts on Instagram where I get a lot of my inspo. My favorites are, I think it's called Vivid Design. I will leave them linked down below. Amber Interiors. I would really recommend finding people on Instagram that you can follow and get inspo from, like interior design accounts. And then now my explore page on Instagram is just all houses, and I just press on them and I get inspo. I very rarely like buy those exact pieces of furniture because more often than not they're crazy expensive, but I can at least get inspo from them. Yeah, and then if I have to like redo a room or decorate something, like when I was kind of redoing my bathroom, I looked on Pinterest. Pinterest is great. You can click on a picture of something you like, and then if you scroll under it, it's all similar images. The second question is this your forever home? Get married, have kids in this home. I love my home, and I would probably be happy here for the rest of my life, but I do not see this being my forever home. Forever is a really long time, and I plan on having like a few kids, so I just don't think it would necessarily work. So I'll probably live here for a few more years, and then sell it when I can make a good profit on it, and probably move a little bit closer to the city. Flooring details, how did you decide? One of the most asked questions I get is about my floor. This is the floor. I'll try to put the details down below. Honestly, it was just an option that the builder gave me, and it was one of the main reasons that I decided to go with this builder, because it had the floor, it had everything that I wanted. This light oak floor with the thick wide planks is like my dream flooring. I was so happy when I saw it was an option. Backyard basement updates. So I actually have no updates for my backyard or my basement. My basement is not a priority of mine at the moment. My backyard is also not that much of a priority of mine, honestly. In the summer, I'm not home that much, and it's not like I have like kids that I need like a pool for. So until I have like concrete plans that I know that I want, I don't think I'm going to be doing much with my backyard. My first priority is my front yard, so I couldn't actually do my driveway or my front yard until like last September, because that's when they paved the road in front of my home. And then by that point, I wasn't going to put grass. It was about to freeze. So I haven't done anything, but the first thing I'm doing when spring rolls around, it's already all planned, is my front yard. The biggest question I got, which I touched on at the beginning of the video, was do you regret it? Overall, no. I love my home. I feel so fortunate that this is my home. Like this is my dream home. The only thing that isn't my favorite about my home is the location. So in terms of being close to my family, it's great. My sister is like a 5-minute drive. I'm close to my parents. However, Ethan just moved in a condo in the city. Nikki lives in the city. I'm in the city multiple times a week. I go to restaurants in the city all the time. So it is a little bit of a trek, but for the price that I got this house, it's worth the 35-minute drive when I want to go into the city. But yeah, it's definitely, the location is not my ideal location, but it's worth the drive based on like all the things that I got for the price that I paid. I think if you are someone who likes the idea of being able to customize your home, pick everything you want, get a brand new home, and you don't mind a little bit of the extra work, then building is a great option for you. If I'm being completely 100% honest, I just don't know if it's something that I necessarily want to do again. I hope this was a little bit helpful. I hope I clarified some things. If you have any questions, definitely leave them down below. I will answer them in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe for new videos every single week. I love you, and I'll see you guys back next time. Bye.